Right, so this is our well-being segment because you're still in pink October, and yesterday I'm in pink, right? Finally, I think this is my first pink in October. That's just by the way. JK is also wearing pink, so it should send you a message, right? It should tell you what we are discussing this morning, and our guest this morning is quite special, and she is a woman of many, abilities and capabilities. Someone who is doing so well for herself and that of the people around her, and even she's been blessing people across the continent. So I guess this morning once again is Mrs. Juliet Mills Luchot, and like I said, she has a lot on her profile. I don't want to leave some, so we'll let her do us the honors. Good morning once again.
Good morning. It's good to be here with you, beautiful
Good to have
people.
you. Hope you are doing well.
Thank you. I'm doing fantastic.
Absolutely. So you're a businesswoman. You
Yes.
are a woman of many trades, or jack of all trades.
Well, not of all trades, of some specialities. I've had a 30-year career as a hairstylist and a business owner, and I've now moved into designing. So I've stayed in the fashion industry. After I did hair for 30 years, I retired from that and moved into fashion.
And that's a new addition. That's
amazing,
nice.
yeah.
And you own a lot of businesses.
I own a lot of brands under the House of JULS. So I created the House of JULS, and under the House of JULS, there are about 6 brands working on some more.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
That's why I didn't even want to mention it, because I saw a lot here.
We don't want to leave anything out.
Absolutely.
No, I think that, as my husband will tell you, I don't sleep. My mind is always going. I'm always trying to think of, okay, what's the next thing I can create? Everything I've created pours into Pink for Africa. So it allows me, it makes me more excited to create.
Yeah. That's amazing. Trying to create, sometimes we get stuck where you try to draw inspirations, but they don't just add up. During moments like that, what do you do?
I pull back and I try to think of, I like to be passionate about things. I don't just do it for the money. I think money will come. So once I'm excited and I'm passionate about it, it's an easy pull. So anytime I'm stuck anywhere, I just pull back and kind of reflect on what I'm doing and where I could possibly go wrong or what is blocking. And sometimes pulling back allows you to kind of go back to the situation and fix what you need to tweak and then move forward.
You're good to go.
All right. So a quick one. The topic we are discussing this morning is support systems for breast cancer patients. Support systems for breast cancer patients. And Mrs. Juliet,
yes,
or I should say Mrs. Luchot.
Yes.
Please, would you say that your foundation for breast cancer is also under the House of JULS, and can you tell us more about it?
So Pink for Africa stands on its own. 16 years ago, I went through my own personal journey with breast cancer. And while I was launching a product, the gentleman interviewing me asked me if I didn't live in Ghana, if I didn't live in the US, will I be alive today? And that stayed with me. So that made me want to start Pink for Africa. Now, 14 years later, we have very separate from House of JULS. Pink for Africa is an NGO. You cannot put that under House of JULS. So Pink for Africa stands on its own. But what we do is we pull percentages of the different products under House of JULS to support Pink for Africa.
Okay. So what would you say is one of the most challenging emotional trauma that comes along with breast cancer patients?
I think that for Ghana, there is such a stigma, and those stigmas really makes people not want to open up, not want to talk about what they're going through. So it is so important for us to slowly remove that stigma. It is very, very important for us. I think that is the biggest struggle. If more people can come out like me and share their story, it will empower others to not make it a stigma. That it's just a simple disease, and when caught early, we can all live a long life. And that's the key.
Okay. And then back to the story you shared with us, the question that you were being asked, which triggered you to start this whole process. Let's compare Ghana to America. Would you say it has to do with the resources or the finances, or it goes beyond that in terms of patients of breast cancer or breast cancer patients surviving the possibilities, you know?
Well, right now in the United States, 98% of breast cancer patients survive.
98. That's a lot.
I cannot say that for Ghana. Not even close. So I think there's a lot to be done. Our government is trying. There is some subsidiary that through the insurance system is being supported, but it's not nearly enough. So small organizations like mine come out and we try to donate to help as many people as possible. Yeah.
Okay. So with you coming out helping these people, would you say that has been noticed by the government, and are you also, you know, stretching a helping hand to ensure that what you're doing is enough for the people?
Has been known by the government? Absolutely not. I don't think that's on their radar. And I'm sure they're grateful, but I don't look for that to do what I do. I look to how I can support my sisters, my aunties, my mothers, my friends, people, women I have known who, when I was a child, were pillars of the society, who helped me be who I am today. So those images is what I remember. My grandmother, my aunties, my friends' mothers, who, you know, through my growing up, really played a role in me being a woman and a strong woman. And I think that's what it is. It would be nice for the government to acknowledge us. It's not just me. There are other NGOs out there who do what I do. It would be nice for us to be acknowledged, but again, that's not why we're here.
That's it.
Exactly.
Just touching the lives, that's the most important
Just
thing.
touching. I am grateful to be alive. And I think because I had the privilege to have been diagnosed in the US, my journey was a lot different, you know. So looking back and in the 14 years coming home every October has really humbled me and has made me even more appreciative of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please, can you share with us your journey?
So I turned 40 and I went in for a routine mammogram, and they called me back for an ultrasound, which then led to an MRI, and my tumor was found in my left breast. And on a second opinion, I was advised to remove the breast completely. So I did that. And luckily, I had already had my children. I have 3 sons. My oldest is 33, and my youngest is 24. So it allowed me to focus on myself, and with the support around me, my husband's support, my family support, the journey was very easy for me. I've always had the personality of it's not what happens to you, it's how you get through it. So anything can happen in life. So you just have to muscle up and get through it.
Okay. And then I'm interested in the breast that we have here.
So I have today, one of the things Pink for Africa does is we donate financial support to women.
Okay.
Now we are up to 7 hospitals that we donate to, and Kolebu being our biggest donation. We also donate prosthesis. So for the women who have lost their breast, we show up. This is about $200 in Ghana. So we've donated a little over 500 to women. And I want this lovely gentleman to feel
Have a feel of it.
and tell us how
JK,
he
touch
feels.
it.
Oh my. Wow. It feels like the breast is
Feels pretty close,
It's
doesn't
very,
it?
very close to there. That's amazing and quite very expensive.
It is. It
Wow.
is.
Wow.
So I had the privilege of going through
Okay.
a reconstructive surgery
Please,
where
I
my
want to-
breast was formed for me.
Oh, wow.
Majority of, you're looking at a Makola woman, you're looking at a banana seller.
That's
They're
so-
not going to be able to
Able
afford
to
that.
afford that.
So we bring it, it's different sizes.
Okay.
And we're able to donate it to women, and you should see their faces when we give this to them.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So
So
that's
the,
what
the
this is.
rubber goes off, right?
The rubber goes off, and we advise them to sew a cotton sack and put it in before they put it in their bra. That way the breast doesn't touch their skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Already, if they've had a mastectomy, their skin is very sensitive. So that and also they might sweat. So the cotton sack will absorb the sweat. They can remove it and wash it and put it back on and preserve that.
Okay. So please, this is just to, I mean, let people know that there's still some breast there when
You know,
there's
when you
not.
hug somebody or when you dress up, now the women are using just cloth, and sometimes the cloth will shift. this will form in the breast very nicely. And it feels and looks like breast.
Right. So this is not for, like, let's say, you know, the sexual stuff.
No. There's nothing to feel
Just
here.
to
There's
portray.
no. It's just to.
The looks.
It's just for the look. It's just for the
Okay.
aesthetic look. Yeah.
Wow. I think it's my first time seeing it.
See,
Quite
they're having a
surprised.
few touching
Yeah.
it.
That's good. I'm glad you guys had a chance to feel
Yeah, it's
it.
my first time.
Interesting. Now, I just want to find out. You mentioned that every month of October you find yourself in Ghana right here, stretching a helping hand with people who find themselves in this situation. And now, looking at the tally and the lives you've been able to touch, do you think now the people are getting to understand when we talk about breast cancer, the awareness is there, the education is really enough with the years you've been coming back?
Great question. In the last 14 years, I've seen so much more in Accra, but we need to go outside of Accra.
Okay.
So this year, I was in Tamale and Bolga. I was there for a week. And what I saw broke my heart, because you have women, majority of the women are showing up late. The women are some of the most hardest working people I have seen in Ghana. The northern women work very hard. So it is important for us to really encourage the government to push more, you know, medical supplies to the north, because they need it. So education needs to go out more, and I'm hoping that next year I'll do 1 week there as well, and every year for the next maybe 4 to 5 years I'll focus in Tamale and encourage the young girls. We do schools, we talk to young girls about early detection, we talk to young girls about dreaming beyond your scope. People like you should go and speak to these girls, because they need to see that you're not created only to marry and have children, that you have dreams and you have hopes, and it's okay. So it is really important for us to get out there and talk about women empowerment and all of that good stuff.
Okay, and regarding talking, what role does support groups also play in this recovery process?
Amazing question. Very, very. As a matter of fact, this year I've partnered up with some psychologists, and we're trying to help. There's already a psychologist in Kolebu who really reaches out and helps as many of the women as possible. And there is support groups. Some of these women create their own support groups. And that is powerful, it's paramount, because to hear another woman going through it, or who has been ahead of you a little bit. I am 16 years in remission. So for me to share my story with somebody who just diagnosed is great. So Pink for Africa creates a platform. I'm very reachable. I counsel people from the Caribbean all the way to Europe, in between through Africa. So anybody who can reach me, we're on all the social media platforms. If you hit me up, I'll respond very quickly, and I'll be able to have some support for you. So not only do we do the financial, educational, and the prosthesis, but we also have a support system that counsels and talks people through.
Okay, so are these support groups active even when you are away?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm reachable. That's what I said. With social media today, I've had people reach out to me and say, listen, my mom is going through this and she doesn't want to do her surgery. Can you talk to her? Absolutely. I'll get on the phone, I'll have a conversation, we'll have a few conversations, and I'll be able to change her mind. So I think opening that dialogue and the power of social media has been great. WhatsApp is free. You can reach out to me. I'm quick to give my number for people to reach out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to find out. Let's take it back in the day a little bit. You know, when you found yourself in that situation, trying to snap out, where you know the stigma was real there. You know, the fear with people coming out, voicing out, this is what I'm going through here in Africa. During those hard moments, or let me say, during those tough moments, you found yourself in the situation. What was that escape? What was those things, the things you were doing, you know, to take your mind off this whole thing?
So, you know, I was diagnosed in the U.S. The U.S., there is hardly any stigma because it's not there.
Okay.
But my Ghanaian community in the U.S. looked at me funny, that I was open and I was talking about it. At the time, I was running a hair salon, which 99.9% of the people are women. So why not share my story? I didn't understand why. I lost some friends who thought I was just putting my stuff out there too much, but I felt it was very necessary. And I pulled a lot of strength from that, from sharing my story, because I wanted women to feel that it's okay. It's nothing you did wrong. It's nothing, you know. When God gave us the world, he gave us clean water, clean air, clean environment, clean soil. because of our pollution, humans have polluted the earth. We now get sick, and who do we blame? The devil. Devil didn't do anything wrong. We need to take responsibility. When we drink that sachet water, let's not throw it on the floor. Let's put it in a bin. You know, let's be conscious of our environment. When people burn bola, let's be conscious of those things. Let's put the right things in our bodies. All these GMO things, look at what's happening to Galamsey. Look at our water bodies. I mean, really. Can we imagine in the next 5 years, the people who live in that area, what diseases they're going to come up with? Exactly. So let's hold our government accountable for something. And let's get them to stand up. It's not all in V8 and flying jets. It's in really and truly pushing to have a better country and a better people. We are who run the country. I'm back to Ghana because I love Ghana. It's because of the love I have for my people. Why will I give up a month of my life to come to Ghana? I mean, really. I'm running a business. I'm a businesswoman. I can give you the numbers on what it cost me for a month not to be in America. But I dedicate myself to this because I love Ghana.
Interesting. Now let's talk about let me say the joy moment. You know, sitting back, reflecting, looking at the lives you've been able to touch. When you're home, how does it feel like?
You know, I always say this, that besides marrying my lovely husband and bringing my 3 kids into the world, Pink for Africa is the best thing I've ever done. I can actually look back and say breast cancer was the best thing that happened to me.
Wow.
Absolutely. Because, you know, you live life so beautifully now. I don't, you know, I appreciate everything. I see everything. You know, every moment I get to be with my grandchildren, I have 2. I absolutely love it. I enjoy moments with friends and everything because I think it could have easily been taken away. So yes, it was the best thing that happened to me. Through that, Pink for Africa started. We're reaching out. We're helping so many people. I can't do everything. I'm one person. But even if we can save one person, it's great. You know, this year, for the first time, we were able to donate to a man who's going through breast cancer at Kolibo.
I was about talking about the other side because most times that we channel the energy and the whole education to just the women, but we're told some men too are facing this whole thing.
Beyonce's father is the face of men with breast cancer. Google him.
That's amazing. Thanks for the education too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Quite interesting. But with the story that you shared earlier about losing friends and then some close people, quite interesting. Within that 14 years span of you helping out people or reaching out to people, what are some of the common misconceptions about helping breast cancer patients?
I tell you, women who, I mean, for the sheer, you pay for their chemo and they tell you they couldn't get to the hospital because they don't have lorry fare.
Transportation.
That's the reality. So the value of what you've given them now has to extend to you finding a way to get them from point A to point B for them to get their treatment. And as little as that is, it's very important. So, you know, we make sure that because we are a non-profit, everything has to be accounted for. So we cannot do that because there's no accountability there. If I put a check, give a check to Kolibu, that check is accounted for. So for me, I keep proper books because I want people to understand I'm a hardworking woman. Your donations is not coming to support me. It's actually going to do the work I promised you it was going to do. So we need to be sure that we are. But some of the sad stories of that, there was a young girl we helped a few years ago. She ended up passing Ifwa. We found Ifwa when she was 24. She had paid up to surgery. And she had gone through chemo, done all her tests, shrunk the tumor down, and she needed surgery. We paid for her to do the surgery. She came out of surgery. She was supposed to start chemo again. We did it. We did radiation. Then she got pregnant. Now, they had to stop everything now and make sure she has the baby. So Ifwa had the baby. She wanted to have the baby. She had the baby. Beautiful baby girl. Then after the baby, her tumors came back.
Is it as a result of the pregnancy?
Pregnancy can, because of hormones.
Okay.
Breast cancer is a big hormonal disease. So it could have increased or accelerated whatever little was left, because she needed to go through medications after her surgery and all of that, and that had to be stopped for her to have the baby. So then the cancer came back. This time it came back vigorously than before. It was in her lungs, it was in her body. So we ended up losing her. Her daughter was 3 when she died. So the man was long gone. When the man realized that the cancer had come back, he was gone. So again, this is a young girl who we helped. By the time I met her, we were helping her. She was sleeping in a container because her landlord had kicked her out. So she would go to chemo, come back and sleep in the hot container. So we had to help her find her place to live, make sure she's comfortable and all of that. And I had a beautiful relationship with this young girl. My older son at the time was in a similar age. So it really, really was tough for me to see that she could easily be my child. So we did. We helped. Everybody poured in and we helped Ifwa. And eventually we lost Ifwa. By the time she was 29 or 30, we lost her.
That's a sad story right there. Wow.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm speechless, by the way, but
So
just
when I
like
tell
that.
you early detection is key, early detection is key. I met a woman who, in Kumasi, Mampokwa. Mampokwa walked up to me and said, "Hey, young girl, good job, what you're doing." When I was 38 years old, there were visiting doctors coming into Kumasi and they took off my breast. And I lived to be 89 years old.
Oh.
When I met her, she was 89. So Mampokwa is an example of early detection and taking that breast off early so that you don't give it a chance for it to come back. That's the key.
Oh, that's amazing.
so
And interesting stories.
just a quick one. When the breast is being taken off, does the skin become like flat and plain like the normal skin?
It looks like a man's chest.
Okay.
Everything is removed. Your nipple is removed. Everything is removed.
Everything.
So the process for reconstruction, they have to put what they call a stretcher underneath your skin the minute they do that. And that slowly will stretch the skin. But you have to go to the hospital for them to inject fluid and then slowly increase it. Then once the skin is stretched, they go back and remove the stretcher and put the implants in. Then they tattoo and form the nipple. So they pinch and sew, create a bit of a
nipple.
little bit of a nipple, and then they tattoo around it to make it look as even as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is also like another aspect of it, and then this is also a different
This is just prosthetics. This is just for the outside.
outside. Okay.
So nothing gets put into your skin.
okay.
This is not meant to be in your skin at all. This is just once you've healed and you are well and everything has healed nicely, you get to put this in there to even your breast with the bra. So you need a bra for this. The other one, you don't need a bra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the counseling services that are available at Pink Africa?
Well, right now for Pink for Africa, we are open to counsel anybody. Now, Kolebu also has psychologists who counsel people. So remember, there is a support system in all of the hospitals. If you reach out to them, they'll plug you into a group of women who have survived and who are willing to talk to you and all of that. So all the hospitals have it. There's no question about it. I've seen that. But if you need extra support, you can always reach out to Pink for Africa. We are on Pink for Africa on Facebook, Pink for Africa on Instagram. We are at pinkforafrica.org, which is our website you can go to. We're running a campaign this month.
Okay.
Donate 10 CDs and tell 10 people to donate. Everybody can afford 10 CDs. But together, if we can get 1 million people to donate 10 CDs, we can help so many people. So we will give you guys the Momo number, and you'll be able to add it and then push it out for us.
Definitely, we'll do that. That's amazing. So, talking about Pink Africa, this month, 2024, is there anything different you're doing in addition to, disseminating this information to the general public?
That's fantastic. I mentioned the psychologist. We're definitely going into bed with the psychologist and seeing how we can create more support, because we realize that it's not only the patient going through it. Who takes care of the caregiver?
Definitely.
The caregiver also sometimes is traumatized. So we have children who have been taking care of their mothers who are struggling. So this year we created another fund within Pink for Africa called the Paulina Fund. So the Paulina Fund is an aunt I lost to breast cancer. So we created the Paulina Fund to help children who are left behind. So like Ifwe's daughter, we're able to help support her. We have another child at Legon University we're helping. So children like that who come up and say, you know what, my mom is gone, I need support, can you guys help me? We're more than happy. The Paulina Fund will go to support that.
That's great. So aside the financial part, what would you say is the biggest part of breast cancer?
Early detection, early detection, early detection is key. Learning to self-examine. Every woman should do it 1 week after their period. Learn the proper steps to self-examine. And if you don't get your period, please check anytime. For the men, they can check anytime. I was diagnosed at 40. So because I was diagnosed, there's a genetic factor as well. So my children, my nieces, my nephews, everybody in my family need to go and be screened from when they're 30. So 10 years prior to my diagnosis, they need to be checked. So if you have a genetic trait in your family, we need to encourage people to share their medical history. We want to give Ejapadia to our people. Ejapadia is great, but your health history is even bigger than Ejapadia, because you're giving that person life. So please, let's not hide our medical history. Let's share it with our families. It's so important.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a delightful conversation, very educative. The details is a different thing. And thank you so much for bringing this. My first time touching it, it feels nice to,
Have a feel of it.
yeah. But the stories were quite, emotional
Thank you.
too. So please, now to the Momo number, the bank details, how people can support.
George, can I have my phone?
Okay,
Please.
right. So I will help with that. And then
I can give it to you really quickly.
go. So this morning has been very, very educative right here in the studio. We discussed support systems for breast cancer patients. Our guest was Mrs. Juliet Mills LUTTERODT, and she is the founder for Pink for Africa Foundation, and she has been doing this for 14 good years. When you say a prayer, please pray for this amazing woman right here in the studio, because she has blessed the lives of so many people. So the bank details or the Momo number, in case you want to, donate or support Pink for Africa, the number is as follows. It says 0530 486 494. I'm repeating it again. 0530 486 494. 0530 486